Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. How did Imu, that creepy shadow at the top of the world, become immortal and control everything for 800 years? Ever since the Void Century? This idea comes from the sharp minds of fans, mixing manga clues, recent spoilers, and the kinds of logic Oda loves to hide like buried treasure. It's not 100% canon, but the evidence screams hidden truth. Let's start with the basics, but with a demonic twist. Imu appears like a ghost in the manga, a tall, slender silhouette with flaming red eyes that pierce the soul. In chapter 906, during the Reverie arc, Oda teases us by showing Imu approaching a giant straw hat frozen in the basement of Pangaea Castle. Yes, the same hat Luffy wears, just family-sized. Imu carries wanted posters of people like Luffy, Blackbeard, and Shirahoshi, cutting them with a sharp sword, like editing a villain Christmas list. In chapter 908, the Gorosei, those sinister old men who run the Marines, bow before Imu at the empty throne, asking which light to erase from history. That screams absolute control. The theory paints Imu as immortal because unlike other characters who age like Garp or Whitebeard, Imu seems untouched by time. In the anime episode The 885, his voice echoes distortedly like a sound from past eras. Fun to imagine Imu as an eternal CEO, firing entire islands via cosmic email. This scene connects directly to chapter 1085, where Imu reveals a demonic form, bat wings, a pointed tail, a flaming trident, attacking King Cobra of Alabasta. He pierces Sabo, a Logia user, like fire or paper. This isn't ordinary power, it's timeless essence, suggesting that Imu doesn't age because, well, he stopped the clock 800 years ago. Fans speculate that Imu is from the Nerona family, one of the 20 founders of the world government, alive since the Void Century. In chapter 1122, Ivankov openly theorizes this, calling Imu an ancient saint. Boom, solid ground for our madness. Now, the juicy part of the theory. Imu wasn't born immortal. He stole eternity via the Ope Ope no Mi, the supreme fruit that allows miraculous surgeries. In chapter 765, during the Dressrosa arc, Doflamingo explains that this fruit has the perennial youth surgery, a procedure that grants eternal life to the target but kills the user instantly. Theory: someone sacrificed their life to operate on Imu, maybe a loyal Void Century ally, turning him into an eternal power zombie. Go back to chapter 1086, where Ivankov, the king of revolutions, drops the bomb. Imu is one of the original 20 kings alive for 800 years. How? The Ope Ope no Mi recirculates every generation, but Imu used it in the distant past. In chapter 504, Law eats the fruit, but Doflamingo was hunting it for its immortalizing ability, a hint that Celestials like Imu already exploited it. Fun to picture Imu as a VIP patient, lying on an ancient operating table while the surgeon disappears into dust, shouting, "Thanks for the immortality, boss." And the Gorosei? In chapter 1114, Vegapunk reveals that they also seem immortal, not aging in flashbacks from 30 years ago. Chapter 1073, where Saturn appears identical. Theory expands. Imu used his influence to repeat the surgery on them, creating a gang of eternal old men. In chapter 1150, Imu demonstrates supreme haki that topples giants in Elbaf. Waves of power echoing ancient eras. No redundancy. Every ability, telepathic possession. Chapter 1125, demon transformation. Chapter 1085 screams, "I'm older than the sea." Imu doesn't fight. He exists beyond time, controlling puppets like the Elders. Imu isn't just immortal. He's the ultimate puppeteer, manipulating the world government since its founding. In chapter 907, the Gorosei consult Imu about erasing history, confirming he dictates global policies in secret. Theory: 800 years ago, at the end of the Void Century, detailed in chapter 395 by Professor Clover, Imu led the alliance of 20 kings against the ancient kingdom, erasing 100 years of history to hide his rise. In chapter 1085, Imu mentions Nefertari di Lily, queen of Alabasta from the Void Century, with personal familiarity. As if he had met her, Lily refused the empty throne, spreading poneglyphs. Chapter 1115, Vegapunk explains, Imu, furious, hunted her, and her light still haunts him. Fun to picture Imu as an eternal stalker, scribbling names in a death notebook for centuries. In chapter 1060, Imu tests the ancient weapon Mother Flame, vaporizing the Lulusia kingdom, power echoing ancient destructions, like God Valley. Chapter 1095. Imu controls the Gorosei telepathically. Chapter 1149, Gunko possession, turning enemies into demons via Akuwaru. Chapter 1150. This keeps the world under his yoke. Marines, Cypher Paul, everything dances to his rhythm. In chapter 1122, Joy Boy's haki awakens echoes Imu recognizes, proof he fought in that era, ruling uninterrupted rejected since then. The Void Century is the black hole where it all begins. 900 to 800 years ago, a titanic war between the ancient kingdom and the 20 kings. Won by the latter, chapter 1115, Vegapunk transmission, theory, Imu, as Nerona Imu, chapter 1086, was the mastermind, using immortality to orchestrate the apocalypse and found the world government. In chapter 967, Roger laughs on Laugh-Tale reading the true history, likely exposing Imu as the eternal villain. Imu destroys anyone who approaches, like Ohara, chapter 391, or Lulusia. In chapter 1084, Sabo spies on Imu at the empty throne, confirming the millennial secret. Fun! Imu as a grumpy grandfather, erasing embarrassing world family photos for 800 years. The Ope Ope no Mi, key to immortality, may come from ancient technology. Chapter 761, Corazon mentions its value to celestials. Imu's Abyss, chapter 1150, creating magical circles, echoes void century weapons. No repeats, every clue from forbidden poneglyphs, chapter 218, to Joy Boys Hockey, chapter 1044, paints Imu as the immortal guardian of the secret, controlling narratives to prevent uprisings. Reaching the grand finale of the theory, Imu, immortal and omnipotent, is the final boss facing Luffy as the reincarnated Joy Boy. In chapter 1151, Imu's Hockey topples Elbaf, but Luffy laughs an echo from 800 years ago. Theory, Luffy breaks Imu's immortality by destroying the essence of the Ope Ope or exposing the truth through the One Piece. Chapter 968, when Roger mentions the treasure that laughs at the world. In chapter 1149, Imu possesses bodies, but weaknesses appear. Perhaps surgery has her Achilles heel. Fun to imagine Luffy stretching Imu like old rubber. Hey grandpa, time to retire. In chapter 1125, the Gorosei question loyalty, cracks in the Eternal Empire. No fluff. This all culminates in the final arc, revealing Imu as the demon who sank the world. Chapter 1114, Vegapunk warns about ancient floods caused by the Void. Century Wars. Now, let's unpack one of the most subtle and at the same time explosive pieces of One Piece's world building, the Empty Throne, introduced in chapter 908 as the ultimate symbol of global political balance. Or at least, that's what the world believes. According to the Gorosei themselves, the Empty Throne was created after the founding of the world government, 800 years ago, as a pact of equality among the 20 kingdoms that defeated the ancient kingdom at the end of the Void Century. The idea was simple. No one would ever sit on that throne, ensuring that no king would reign above the others. It would serve as an eternal reminder that the world had rejected tyranny and embraced cooperation among nations. A beautiful symbol, but as with almost everything in One Piece, what seems like idealism is actually a facade for oppression. Imu sitting on the empty throne, as we see in chapter 908, is a total break of that original pact. It's not just an authoritarian gesture, it's an act of political heresy. It's a denial of the very founding purpose of the world government. It's as if the ultimate symbol of equality were corrupted by the one who swore to protect it. Imagine the Pope ripping the Bible in public while saying, "Trust me." That's the level of symbolic betrayal we're talking about. And this leads to a disturbing conclusion. Imu does not rule to maintain order. Imu rules to erase the truth, keep controlled chaos, and ensure that no one ever gains enough power to overthrow him. The empty throne was supposed to guarantee stability, but with Imu secretly occupying it, it becomes the center of the world's oldest lie. And the world's elite, the Tenryubito and even the Gorosei themselves, know this. They kneel before Imu in chapter 908, even though they are the 5 most politically powerful men in the known world. This reveals the full theater. The facade of equality that upheld 800 years of history was just that, a facade. None of the founding kingdoms actually shared power. They handed it over, and Imu kept it. Here, the empty throne assumes a dual symbolic function. For the people, it is proof of a world free of tyrannical monarchs. For those who really rule, it is a secret altar where Imu sits as a god disguised as absence. The iconography is no coincidence. The throne is placed at the center of the Pangea Hall, in the heart of Maria Joie, surrounded by the 20 weapons of the founding kings planted around it as a promise that power would be eternally shared. But if Imu is one of the original founders, confirmed by Ivankov in chapter 1122 as Nerona Imu, then he not only breaks the promise, he created it already, knowing he would betray it. The empty throne was a trap from the start. From a religious perspective, this paints Imu as an inverted messianic figure. He presents himself as the absence of power, as if he does not exist, but in reality, he is a hidden hidden deity, a silent god demanding secret worship. This echoes real-world theocratic systems, where power is not just political, but symbolic and sacred. Imu rules as if he were destiny incarnate, manipulating puppets while the people pray for peace, unaware that they are slaves to an invisible presence. And this symbolism becomes even more potent when we remember the contrast with the poneglyphs stone blocks scattered across the world, created to preserve historical truth, forbidden exactly by those who rule from Mariajoie. The poneglyphs are the anti-symbol of the empty throne. Where the throne represents institutionalized lies, the poneglyphs represent resilient memory. One is made to be displayed, the other to be hidden. One is a stage, the other an archive. The fight for the One Piece is, at its core, a struggle between these two pillars, memory and oblivion. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.